David just got arrested for murdering Celeste. Now, even with an arrest coming and an update this big, I'm here to tell y'all it's far from over. We haven't even scratched the surface of this situation yet.
Major breaking news now. Detectives from the Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division have arrested singer David Burke for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Burke is being held without bail. The case will be presented to the DA's office on Monday for filing consideration. You may remember, and we've been reporting, Rivas's body was found in the trunk of David's car in September of last year. She was only 14 years old. Again, this breaking news just into our newsroom. We're working to get more information, and we'll continue to follow this story.
We do want to go ahead and bring in now ABC's Alex.
Before this gets too far, y'all, horrible situation. Horrible situation. A grown man, artist, doing this to a young girl. Gross, disgusting. I hope he pays. Period. Nobody deserves this. The family doesn't deserve this. The young lady didn't deserve this. This is a sad situation to be. And then you walk into the Giant and they playing songs. You know what I'm saying? That's how I heard about this. Real life. I didn't know about this situation until I walked into Giant doing a DoorDash. And the guy's like, bro, you know what song this is on the radio? Yeah, he killed a little girl. And I'm like, what? First of all, bro, I thought she was supposed to be stocking shelves. Why are you low-key a YouTube commentator? He needs to start a channel. I need to go tell him and then monetize him and then, you feel me? But yeah, like, damn. He was interesting, little Hispanic guy. Not little. He's taller than me, but yeah.
Joan on the phone to speak more about this case. Alex, you've been following this from the very beginning. What can you tell us as far as this breaking information goes this afternoon?
Well, Mark and Michelle, yeah, sources are telling us that this is based off of evidence that the LAPD was able to gather and put together and now is going to be presenting to the LA County DA for a filing decision on Monday. This was not from any kind of indictment. We know that the case had gone to a grand jury. It was expected that there might be an indictment coming sometime soon. We were thinking in the last couple of months or in the next few weeks.
David is being charged with murder. Now, the reason why we have to reiterate murder is because when the investigation first started, LAPD put out a press release where they notified the public that they may not even have enough for murder, that, Celeste may have died from an overdose, and, that David and others may just be charged with, improperly disposing of a body. But for them to charge David with murder, they would now have proof or evidence from their perspective that David committed this murder against Celeste or instructed the murder of Celeste. But
bro, how does a 14-year-old overdose on drugs? Realistically, if nobody is able to supply her with, one, the funds, two, the accessibility, or three, just give her the drugs. You feel me? Like, you have to, somewhere in this equation, even if she overdosed, they are highly involved and highly responsible. They are adults. She's a child, period. But also, do y'all believe she wasn't murdered? Because I definitely think she was murdered. It doesn't make sense for her to be in the back of a trunk. If it was an overdose, they would have just took her to the hospital, and then it would have been simple as that. All of this wouldn't have made sense for it to just simply be, oh, she overdosed and passed away. No, you knew if a 14-year-old overdosed at your house, what is she doing at your house, grown man? What are you doing? You're going to prison.
nobody else has been arrested or is in custody. So for now, David is who they believe murdered Celeste. This is the press release from LAPD Robbery and Homicide Division. Now, they will say the Los Angeles Police Department Robbery/Homicide Division has been diligently investigating the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez over the past several weeks. At this time, we can confirm that Celeste Hernandez is deceased and her body was found in the front trunk area of a Tesla belonging to David. The vehicle had been parked at the location from which it was towed for several weeks, so Ms. Hernandez may have been deceased for several weeks before the discovery of her body. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet determined the cause or manner of Celeste Rivas' death. As such, it remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body. Is thoroughly examining every aspect of this case to uncover the truth and seek justice for Celeste Hernandez and her family. But when they had that grand jury and they brought in everybody associated with the situation, they brought in David's parents, they brought in Neo, they brought in David's manager. After speaking to everybody, they quickly came to the conclusion that this was not no accident, no overdose, no, Celeste was murdered. Now, the body was so badly decomposed that the medical examiner couldn't really, get a full understanding of how she died.
This was not from that. We are told that this is evidence that they have been compiling going back to when her body was found last September, that now they have reached a point where they believe they have probable cause, and it's gone to the DA.
All right. And so a lot of people wondering, so many things seem to point to him. Why did it take them this long to make the arrest? We know they're pretty methodical about how they do things, but.
Yeah, it's a good question. One of the things that they were waiting on, Mark, was the cause of death. And there was difficulty reaching that cause of death, not to get too graphic, but her body was in multiple parts. It was in, we know from court documents, 2 different body bags in the front trunk of that Tesla when her body was found. So it was.
Oh my God, that made me sick to my stomach, Mo. Y'all ever be listening to something and it be popping in your head? Bro, that's... Alright, get out of here. What? Oh my God, I've never heard that part of it. I thought, you just imagine like somebody just in a truck like these. Just maybe like, I just imagine they just threw her in a truck like these and then that's how they found it. No. She was real life chopped up. All right, let me stop fucking on it.
Difficult for the medical examiner to determine the cause of death. So they had to prove or be able to show to the DA that she was murdered, that it wasn't something else. Where,
stop! Pictures of her while y'all talk about this, bro. I don't even want to look at her no more, bro.
Let's say that she overdosed and then somebody freaked out and put her body in that trunk. They have to be able to prove that it was murder. They now believe that they can do that.
All right.
Yeah, we also know, David, as many entertainers do, had an entourage of people around him at times. I know some other individuals have been considered as drivers of this vehicle or either around. Any information on possibly how this could impact other people that David was around that also may have been around Celeste Rivas?
Michelle, we don't know yet, and if there are any other arrests that are going to be coming in this case. We know that there were a number of witnesses who came and testified in front of the grand jury, again, that this was not an indictment, that this is probable cause that the LAPD put together and moved forward on. But during the grand jury proceedings, which are secret as they're ongoing, that there were a number of other people who came forward, those who are close to David, friends of David, family members of his were subpoenaed to go in front of the grand jury. So if there are other arrests that could be coming, we don't know. But as of right now, he is the only one that we know of under arrest.
All right.
There has to be more arrests coming. There just has to be, right? Like obviously there's more arrests coming because the person who drove the Tesla and parked it outside of David's crib with the body in the trunk, that person was never identified yet.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I don't even know who really, bro. Y'all really be nasty, like R. Kelly, Diddy, David. Just gross, like it be people around you, Epstein. It be y'all circles, bro, allowing y'all to do this gross stuff. And I don't understand how so many people can just be entangled in this nastiness. But also I can, because money and power will make you do anything. And God said it.
Or arrested, but the private investigator says they have ID'd the person, they know who that person was. Well, if that person drove the body and parked it, isn't that person some type of accessory after the fact? Like the people who was purchasing things like burn cages for David, isn't that person somehow an accessory after the fact? Now, a lot of people came in and they spoke to a lot of people. I knew David was cooked from the second, right, that they was bringing in his homies, bro. The one homie, after the grand jury, his entire tone changed, bro. Once they brought him in and they let him know what he was facing and how he could be charged, man, bro came back on Instagram and told everybody, hey, bro, David is a piece of ish. Celeste is a victim. And we're like, huh? She's a victim. So that means that she was murdered. Once his best friend turned on him publicly, I knew it was already cooked for David.
Here's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to read you what Neil Langston just posted on his Instagram account. And I will tell you, it's quite telling, okay? And I'm curious why he posted it, why of all times right now. I'm going to try to put it into context a bit more, but this is important. This is a big development. So Neo took to Instagram with a series of posts. There was one that said, I understand due to my silence and the silence in general, it leaves a void of information that everyone wants to fill. But at the end of the day, this case isn't about me. It isn't about you. It's about getting justice for the victim and her family, and I care a lot more about that than trying to fill that void because of public opinion. Obviously wasn't doing my part at first, but now I am. I've stayed loyal to my mindset and I will continue to. I'm not publicly going to give any opinion or emotion about this case because I find it disrespectful and not my place to weigh in on it, especially as it's still ongoing. I'm not going to spam post to justify and perform my feelings and thoughts for the internet, trying to satisfy people who have already made up their minds about me. In time, the record will speak for itself and I'm moving on with my life. There's another post where he apparently said, I think the worst part is that I've told so many people that I trust that I thought knew me as a person, my side of things, all for that to be thrown out the window as soon as I get arrested and they slap that bleep's name next to mine. I'm assuming he's referring to David here. And for the record, the thing I was arrested for, I wasn't even charged. They never filed it. My warrant was retracted because there is more to the story than what's on the news. Then there's this post. Thankfully, I'm legally fine in every way, and boy, do I got all my receipts for things. Ha 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 ha. This raises a lot of questions about.
This is why we don't trust nobody else. Now that right there, that's very close to snitching if he's involved. Now, if he's not involved, then it's not snitching. But based on the fact that you're David's best friend, you had to have known that he was dating a 14-year-old at the time. A lot of people on Discord, on these different platforms, understood exactly what David was doing as a person outside of his music and outside of what he was doing on social media. So if you were that close, you were in his inner circle, I find it very hard to believe you just quote unquote weren't involved in any way, shape, or form. At least in the mental aspects, you knew and you had the predisposition to say, hey, bro, this is wrong. And you did. You left it alone and that makes you a part of the crime, bro. You are also the problem.
Why he posted this. Obviously, he can't and will not say anything to jeopardize his legal rights, right? Probably instructed by the government to not say anything either if he had spoken in front of the grand jury. Probably his attorney said, don't say anything. I don't even know if his attorney was consulted with this post, but it seems like he's trying to correct whatever misconception or misunderstanding the public has on him or his alleged role in this, because there is a lot of talk about him.
It could be possible the prosecutors strike the deal with Neo and other people involved to where for their testimony, if they agree to come and testify against David, they won't get charged with accessory after the fact, because this case for the most part is hinging on witness testimony. It's hinging on people coming and taking a stand and testifying. Because in terms of physical evidence itself, there's really not much. David had, 6 months to a year to clean this up? The private investigator said that he believed that Celeste may have been dead for almost a year before they found her. So he had about a year to clean up his tracks. So they bought a burn cage because they was about to get rid of the body. Whoever that tow person was or whoever called that tow truck saved this case, bro. Because can you imagine if they were allowed a few extra more weeks when David came back from tour and they was able to work that burn cage and really burn it and burn her body and get rid of everything? What other evidence would there be that David murdered this person?
That's crazy.
What other trace would there be? There won't be no trace.
This is exactly why human trafficking, all of that stuff is so real, and we're so ignorant to it because it happens right under our nose. And when it happens, it's not your friend, it's not your family member, it's somebody nobody really knows or cares. That one person that really doesn't get that much attention. Now they're gone, but nobody really notices. They didn't have friends. They didn't have a bunch of family. Parents was up. Siblings is dead or on drugs. Like, there's real people out here, and then they be the ones that get trafficked because why? A year later, the family finally is like, at least Celeste's family finally came out. But a lot of these victims, bro, their family never actually comes out because they have no family in the first place. There's nobody to say, hey, where's Angelica? No, Angelica was alone for the last 10.5 years. You don't even know Angelica. Angelica just didn't come to work one day. Angelica probably, like, it's how many people don't even have jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these cases are, oh, they didn't come to work, so the police ended up at their house, or it was their friend that called them and then didn't show up, or their neighbor was like, hey, I haven't seen them leave their house in a couple of days. But there's homeless people. There's people out here who live with family or live in the bushes for, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro. And we don't know about how they go missing and then get gone. Look at the other countries. Look at Israel, Iran. We don't want to talk about it, but yeah, look at all these third world countries. People go missing every single day and you never hear about it because there is no track record. The only reason we know about this whole murder thing with David is because of, luckily, like you said, the tow truck guy. But had the tow truck guy never been called, like you said, they would have burned the body. David would have been a multi-million-dollar producing record deal artist, and we would have just been listening to his music. It would have been in the stores at Giant, Target, Walmart, our favorite place to shop, the mall, and we would have just been cranking his music, and the whole time he's a murderer, pedophile. That's crazy. Y'all still listening to Diddy?
And her family wasn't looking for her. She's been missing for like almost a year. And they knew she was with David. They didn't give a damn at all. But there has to be more arrests coming. Because David ain't do this alone. Yo, David was a millionaire who paid a lot of people around him to do certain things. People who was driving that Tesla around with the body in it. People who was purchasing the burn cage under the fake name. People who took the trip with David to the middle of nowhere in California, and we still don't know why they took that trip there. Everybody involved has to be held accountable. I'm not even comfortable with them getting deals. Now, a lot of us had a hunch that this was coming, that, you know, that the first degree murder charge was coming, because if you were focused or tapped into this case, then you know that, you know, like court documents were getting leaked, where it literally was like the state of California versus David Burke. So we already knew some charges were coming. I just wasn't expecting a murder charge, because for months we've been, you know, told, yo, you know, they might get charged with concealment of the body. You know, we don't know.
Flacco, I mean, he has the bigger platform. He has a lot more to lose. When I heard about this, bro, I instantly knew, bro, he was a weirdo. If you listen to his music, all of that. Nah, this guy is a little creepy, a little strange. Like, do we need to go listen to his music and replay the lyrics? He literally exposed himself within the songs the same way these rappers do. What is it with us and exposing our weird stuff in our songs, bro? I don't know if Diddy or R. Kelly did it. Nah, they low-key was freaky. See what I'm saying? All right, we gotta, I mean, low-key, I'm happy they exposing themselves, because then we can catch them later on. But we gotta stop letting these people manipulate our brains with their crazy thoughts and actions, and when they put it on a smooth beat. Like, this is ridiculous. I was just talking about it with my girl. If they make music, but it sounds good, right? It makes you feel happy, lit, but the whole story in the song is about something traumatic, bad, that you wouldn't want in your life. The song is manipulating and persuading your brain to think and believe that and correlate a bad and a good thing. This means now your favorite song is really a breakup song. Now you think breakups are good. That's ridiculous. We need to start listening to music that's about positive, good relationships, that's about getting closer to God, that's about making a lot of money, that's about helping your community, about fixing world problems. Like, where's that music at, for real? Not music about how to cheat on your girl, music about how to another man, music about how to do all this other stuff. Like, what are we talking about? How to shoot somebody, music about how to steal a car, music about how to, like, bro, how to rob a store, music about how to bro, what are we music about how to chop up about, like, bro, what are we music about how you missed your lover that was 14, like David situation? Come on, man. Like, y'all just be listening to anything. Y'all don't really be listening to it. Y'all just be consuming it. And it's like, bro, y'all are consuming a bunch of garbage and wonder why your brain is rotted.
If murder really fits, but now we know for a fact they have enough to confidently state that David murdered Celeste, which should be a no-brainer.
Dead, the people of state of California v. David Burke. Nathan Hochman at the top. He's the Los Angeles County District Attorney. Beth Silverman, too, who we believe is the attorney prosecuting this case. So confirming, again, this is a real case. They're the prosecutors. There was even video or pictures of her coming in and out of court. It goes on to say that there is now pending in the Superior Court of the County of Los Angeles the above entitled grand jury investigation by the state of California against target David Burke. David, that's his real name, David, wherein target may be involved in having committed the following criminal offenses against the laws of the state of California, to wit, 1 count of murder. And when I looked up the penal code that was allegedly broken here, murder is the unlawful killing of a human being or a fetus with malice aforethought, basically an intentional killing. The filing goes on to say, on September 8th, 2025, at approximately 10:30 hours, Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD detectives received a phone call from the manager of Hollywood Area Official Police Garage. The manager stated a black Tesla Model X had been impounded as an abandoned vehicle by the Department of Transportation on September 5th, 2025. The manager told police there was a strong smell of decay coming from the vehicle, which was attracting flies. LAPD detectives responded to the Hollywood tow yard to investigate. Detectives approached the vehicle, which was parked on the upper deck of the impound lot, and immediately noticed the smell of decaying biological material consistent with a decomposing corpse coming from the front storage compartment of the vehicle. Detectives obtained a search warrant for the vehicle, and when the front storage compartment was opened, detectives observed a black cadaver bag covered with insects and a strong odor of decay. Utilizing black latex gloves, detectives partially unzipped the bag and observed a decomposed head and torso. Investigators and criminalists from the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner responded to the tow yard to process the decomposed body. Upon removing the cadaver bag from the front storage compartment, it was discovered the arms and legs had been severed from the body. A second black bag was discovered underneath the cadaver bag.
I don't think we have even scratched the surface of this.
Bullshit. Oh my God, bro, why do people do stuff like this? Like, what in your brain makes you feel like that's not, that's like, I don't even want to talk about it, y'all. Let me know in the comments what y'all got, how y'all feel about this. Yeah, this is horrible.
Y'all think David himself cut off or sawed off her limbs and put it in the bags? You think David did that himself? I don't think so. No, I think David had a lot of flunkies around him who was doing his bidding. And I think everybody involved need to be held accountable, man. And this might be controversial here, bruh. I think the people that allowed a 14-year-old girl to move into the house of a grown man and didn't really care about her well-being or her whereabouts, and allow.
Yes, her parents need to get charged. That's what I was just talking about. If they have no family, we don't find out. But if they have family and we find out, they family need to get charged with negligence, bro. That's a little ass girl. She should have been getting taken care of. They just a family's fault. David would have never been able to get his hands on a little girl if the family was properly raising their child. Like, what are we talking about? You have to raise your kids. Raise your children. Stop having kids. You're not ready to raise them. Period.
Her to stay over there. I think those people probably need to be brought in as well and questioned. You never questioned why this 14-year-old, so she was 13 at the time, was at a grown man's crib, at a 19, 20-year-old crib. Like, you never questioned this? Like, you never questioned, like, the appropriateness of their relationship, which we now know their actual relationship was inappropriate. We now know they were intimately involved, that this dude was an absolute sicko. We know this. But where were the adults in her life? Where were the adults who were responsible for this young girl? That's where we got to start, question things like the R. Kelly narrative, where R. Kelly claiming, the parents, gave the daughters to me. Is that what we're dealing with? Like, did the parents know? Was David able to pay off people? Because even like classmates or peers and associates of Celeste claimed that David came to their neighborhood and was paying people to keep quiet on Celeste and David's relationship. That he was paying people not to say anything about what they knew about them being involved. So if this man was willing to pay Celeste's friends to keep quiet, what do you think he was willing to do to make sure that the adults in her life was okay with them hanging out and being intimate and dating? Y'all let me know in the comment section, man. What do you guys think?
Nah, for real. Let me know. I want to know as well. Because what the hell, bruh? There is no possible way on God's green earth that you're going to sit here and tell me this man was walking around people's neighborhood. They knew he was dating a 14-year-old girl. And instead of police help, they just simply said, you know what? I'm going to take the little bit of bread he gave me. Because it couldn't have been a lot of bit of bread. He just blew up not too long ago. I mean, if they was the kids, but the adults, bruh, the parents, bruh, man, I'm telling you, it's grimy. You got human trafficking. It be their parents. They had. Let's just look at it, right? Y'all ever see that family with 20 kids, bro, or 10 kids? You be like, dang, I got a lot of kids. And then you go in the black community, you like, dang, bro, y'all single as hell, but y'all got kids. Why y'all all got kids single? Y'all ever heard of food stamps? Y'all ever heard of government assistance? Well, I'm going to let you know. In my opinion, allegedly, people who don't get that, they have their kids and traffic them for the same type of assistance. Does that make sense? And that's what Diddy is saying. That's what David was doing. You go ahead and you make the people believe, hey, okay, this guy, he has money. I'm going to take the money. Boom. Give it a little girl, whatever. She'll grow up one day. It'll be whatever. But whole time, they really a weirdo in doing this with multiple people, and you're never going to see your little girl again. And that's not what they thinking about. They just thinking about in my mortgage, in my car note, in my I could get a new house. Like, nah, for real, it's grimy, it's dirty out here. Y'all just gotta love y'all peoples. But let's go ahead and hop into the next video. I was thinking about doing a 2-part, but I'm gonna do a 2-part. All right, I'm gonna do a 2-part. Let me know how y'all feel about this, and if y'all want y'all daily dose of content, make sure you always come back right here, because it's gonna be a lot of drama. It's gonna be a lot of news. There's gonna be some politics. But it's always going to be here daily for you. All right. If y'all enjoy, like, comment, subscribe. It doesn't mean a lot for you. It's simple as 2 seconds, but it makes my whole day. I come in here and I see one new subscriber, and I'm so excited, and I appreciate you all so much. So with that being said, go click on the next video or go watch Poetic Flacco's video. Don't matter to me.